All right. Got some minor road flooding. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, that's close. I'm not sure they should be driving through that. They don't have the clearance. We got the clearance. Oh my gosh, this is actually pretty. Oh boy, that's not going to be good.
Sorry.
I don't know that they should be doing that.
There's
All right, we're
poo-poo.
through.
There's poo-poo in that water.
All right.
Let me bring myself in here. Peeps.
Some minor road.
We'll give a brief update. There's no update. I'm following the news like everybody else. And the news is meant to drive you mad. There's no question about it. That 24/7 coverage of Hurricane Milton. Why are you doing this, Milton? Is meant to drive you crazy. It's meant to make people stuck to the news. I'm lucky I get away from the news because I got to go watch the news. Get this out of here. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, late today because I did a podcast which is going to air at 4 o'clock with, you may know him, Joel Altman. Let me just get the name of the podcast before we get into the show today. It's going to be at Joe Altman. Joe Altman, you may know him from such lawsuits as Coomer, Dominion. It's going to be airing at 4 o'clock. I shared the link with our locals community, but we did that at 12:30. It's about the Tina Peters conviction and, the state of America and Canada and the world at large. So check it out. To give everybody the update so that nobody panics, we are not the people that need panicking or praying. Is that the dog making that noise? We don't need, we're not the people that need the prayers right now. We are, if anything, we're in the Palm Beach County district on the east side of the peninsula. I keep wanting to say the Wang because that's how Homer Simpson referred to Florida in The Simpsons. We're on the east coast, a little bit inland, like right on the back of the Everglades. And we should be in the southern portion of what is the projected path, depending on how north or south it goes when it makes landfall. But the people on the west coast, Tampa, Longboat Keys, are the ones who really need the prayers and they're being told to evacuate. And there's going to be a ton of people who are going to lose everything they have of the material nature. Because apparently, by all accounts, this is a once in 100-year type strength storm. I've got a bunch of people, DM me privately, tell me that, yeah, this is a Cat 5, despite the fact that NCS might be suggesting it's a Cat 4. We'll see what happens as it approaches land. I have extended privately invitations to a handful of people if anybody needs a place to stay if they're evacuating, but I have to be careful not to extend the invitation to too many people, because if they all simultaneously say yes, we're going to have one hell of a packed house. So that's what's going on here. We've got a generator, and most importantly, we've got life jackets, which I think people may or may not think is crazy, but we need life jackets. Worst comes to worst, you plop them on, and then you sit in fecal-infested caca water that may or may not be flowing fast, being very choppy, and they say the majority of issues as relates to human safety in hurricanes results from storm surge on the coast, people drowning, people getting swept away in cars. Yeah, hold on. Let me just do one thing here. Ling here. So that's it. So we did that, and we are hunkering down, put the furniture in a cornered spot, going to tie a rope around it, and that's it. And Ohio Pat says, put oil in the generator. Just so everybody knows, we have a wonderful community. A few people have my private number, my personal cell number. And so Bill Brown, Mrs. Fixit, were giving me answers to my question yesterday in locals. I said, how deep water can you go through in a car? I know the exhaust pipe is one relevant factor. And Bill Brown and Mrs. Fixit gave me the same answer. So I know that it's the right answer. The air intake on the car is, generally speaking, the limit of what can be submerged in water for any extended period of time. And we've got a lifted car with an air intake that is actually higher off the ground than me. So it's not quite that high, but we can go through easy 3.5, 4 feet of water. Everybody in the community saying Viva. That's one thing. You don't know what's under the water, and water has current. I will not be that guy that makes the news because Florida man decides to raft his daughter's inflatable gymnastics mat down the 441. but you might see me trying. So that is it. That's the update here for what's going on in Florida. Stay tuned. Late show, and it was a short notice. Share the link around on social media. We're going to obviously talk. My eye is sticking shut because I'm like, Kamala Harris, I want to stop talking about her. I want to go back to fishing videos. I want to go back to drone videos where I wax my leg with a drone and go fishing with a drone. But the world has changed. And as has my position in the world that I have been forced into. And I love it. But we're going to talk about Kamala Harris. We're going to talk about what's going on in Canada, because I don't know if anybody's paying attention to hearings up in Canada about the recent forest fires in Jasper, Alberta. It's Jasper, Alberta. I was going to say Jasper. Jeez Louise, I'm an idiot. It's Jasper, Alberta. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Getting scared for a second. People are going to think I'm a total idiot. I'm bad with states, provinces, and and cities. But Jasper, Alberta. People might not have heard about the forest fires there over the summer. Devastating. And arguably exacerbated by arguably criminal corruption, negligence at the federal government level. I don't know if this is for me, but LTV says you become our canary in the coal mine. I don't know if that's about me, but I don't mind it. Before we even get started, hold up. Let me make sure so I don't get in trouble with the CommiTube because I want to make sure that I follow all the rules. Did I check off the box that says this stream contains a paid promotion? I think I did, but I didn't. Well, now I checked it off, and now I can do. The sponsors of today's show, before we get into today's show, we're familiar with them. We love them. They support the program. They support parallel economies. They support health. Sponsor number one, Lumen, people. It's fantastic. It is what we call a metabolic coach. I have one, but I'm very much in tune with my body in the first place. Anyhow, what is Lumen? It's the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. On the app, you download it. It lets you know if you're burning fat, carbs, gives you guidance, tailored guidance for your improved nutrition, workout, sleep, everything about it. Stress management, which I might need a little bit of work with. All you do is you breathe into the Lumen. After you download the app, it's got like a nice little button that goes boop, 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 and lets you know when to stop breathing. It measures your breath, and it gives you tips throughout the day. It's amazing. Why does your metabolism matter? It matters because it's your body's engine. It's how you turn food into energy. And depending on what you eat, it'll turn it into fat or excess sugars or whatever. Your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does. Optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness, better sleep, etc. Lumen gives you recommendations based on your metabolic health, and it's fantastic. Take the next step towards improving your health. Go to lumen.me/Viva. Get 15% off your Lumen, or just click on the link below, lumen.me/Viva for 15% off. And we're always on the topic of health, but this one is for the health of the animals that we love most and building a parallel economy, which we need to do. I think like if we have to evacuate, we're not in the evacuation path. We're actually where people are going to be evacuating to. But I think I would not abandon the dogs, period. And there's no but to that. Pudge would actually be the easiest to evacuate with because she would just float. She's like a ball of fat and fur, so she'll just float naturally. Winston, on the other hand, is the one that's a leaner muscular dog who doesn't float naturally. But we love our dogs and we take care of them, and that's why Positive is a very important sponsor. Parallel Economy, partner with Rumble. Getting your dog to the vet these days is harder than getting a reservation at a top Michelin star restaurant. There's a shortage of vets of 15,000 predicted by 2030. Emergency clinics cutting their hours. Pet owners are waiting weeks just to get an appointment. No wonder 66% of U.S. households now have pets and are drowning in fur. What's the rush? Skin problems, stomach issues, the same things that you can't handle at home, but you could if you had the right tools. Luckily, there's Positive's medical emergency kit. Basically, it's your dog's personal ER in a box. We're talking allergy meds, antidiarrheals, poison control, wound care. Did I tell you about the time that Winston ate a half pound of white chocolate? I'll tell you after. It's like you're suddenly a vet minus the student loans and white coat. You'll save a ton of cash, skip the hold music while waiting for a vet, and bonus, you might actually save your dog's life. Positive.com. Code VIVA gets you 15% off. Don't let your dog's health wait on a waiting list. Handle it like a pro and have time to watch some Netflix. That is Positive, PAWSITIVE.com, promo code VIVA. I told everybody about the time Winston made it into a half pound of white chocolate. Hold on, let me go to locals. If the answer is no on locals, the answer is definitively no elsewhere. Hold on, I'm going to wait for it. I'm going to tell you the story. Spoiler alert, it involves a lot of sweet white chocolate smelling vomit. Too bad I haven't gotten an answer yet in locals. Hold on. Wait for it. Well, while we're waiting for it, we can actually show some of the humor. I will be making light of the situation despite how serious and severe it is. Viva Fry, leave now. Katrina was a cat 3. And then someone in the community said, that looks like a massive ding dong. So we are on this map. If we're looking at it, can we see it? I don't know if we can see the cursor as we look at it. Let me go back here. We are effectively right. I'd say more like right here. So I don't know if this orange, the maroon is supposed to indicate where there's going to be the impacted area, but yeah, we're basically, if I could zoom in on that, if you see Lake Okeechobee, we're south of Lake Okeechobee, but north of Miami. So about here, we will be fine. And we got life jackets, but yeah, the joke there is obviously that looks like a massive ding dong. All right. Before we get into the show, Winston got into a half pound of white chocolate because they were making cookies. We soon found out that white chocolate doesn't have chocolate in it, so you don't need to worry about the dog dying. But he threw up for about 24 hours, and it was the sweetest white chocolate smelling vomit. It was so bad, he was vomiting just like constantly and then the vet, we didn't take him to the vet, but they said, he'll stop eventually, and he stopped eventually. All right, what do we start with? I didn't want to start with something that would make you puke, but we're going to go into it now. Kamala Harris, people, has been on a media blitz tour that I swear to you, I hope it never ends. But some people are taking this as like a victory lap, including Jen Psaki, who these idiots, I don't know if they were doing the victory lap before Kamala Harris finished her media blitz race. I'm suspecting that's what they're doing. They're like, oh my goodness, Kamala Harris just ran a marathon in sub 4 hours. And then, she hadn't even gotten past the 6 mile marker. This is Jen Psaki with inside with Jen Psaki, as if anything doesn't get grosser visually. Inside with Jen Psaki doing the victory lap 18 hours ago. And methinks she started doing the victory lap too early. Listen to that.
So for weeks, many Republicans have been hemming and hawing about how Vice President Kamala Harris is avoiding the press. Well, now they're going to have to find something else to complain about.
Oh, no, absolutely not. In fact, now we are rejoicing that what we were complaining about has now proven to be true, in that the accusation was that Kamala Harris is avoiding the media because she's an abject idiot DEI hire who probably was only hired as VP to make Joe Biden look good by comparison. And the joke being, there's a meme. It says Obama is like, I need to get a VP who's dumber than me. And then there's Biden. And then the meme says VP Biden, I need to get a VP who's dumber than me. And then you got Kamala. And Kamala's like, I got to get a VP who's dumber than me. And then you got no balls, tampon Tim Walz. The complaint was that she's an abject idiot and she's avoiding the press because if she does a media tour, she's going to look like an idiot. And I hate to spoil the victory lap, Jen Psaki. She has done it's the most disastrous thing. We spent yesterday's show just pulling out some highlights from her talk with I won't use any mean names because I don't know enough about Alex Cooper, but a show that talks about degeneracy. I pulled out the clips from that because I listened to that so that you don't have to. Let me see what else.
Because Harris is going on a pretty big media blitz. I mean, tonight, 60 Minutes aired an in-depth interview with the vice president. We're going to talk about some more specific moments from that in a moment. That comes the day after Harris appeared on the popular Call Her Daddy podcast hosted by Alex Cooper. Tomorrow, Harris is set for a whirlwind day of media appearances, including The View, The Howard Stern Show, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And yet, perhaps predictably, the more traditional legacy DC-based media are spitting mad. Politico claims in Playbook, quote, Harris is still largely avoiding the media, complaining that most of these are not the types of interviews that are going to press her on issues she may not want to talk about.
That's true, by the way, and she still can't get through these interviews. I'm not going to play any more of the political and intellectual retardation that is the Jen Psaki show. You got the idea. Oh, no, we're going to have to find something else to complain about? Hells to the bells. No, I want this media tour, this media blitz to go on forever. And by the way, it is true. She's sitting down with moral sexual degenerate Alex Cooper, call her daddy, and it's an abject disaster of an interview. She sat down with 60 Minutes. I mean, I don't know if 60 Minutes is doing their job. I don't know if 60 Minutes decided to flip down and says, nope, we no longer want Kamala Harris. It was the worst thing you've ever seen. I've been listening to some of the Howard Stern interview today. It's the worst thing I've ever heard. And I literally saw, someone step on a little budgie and it died in my hands. It's worse than that. It's not worse than that. That was actually traumatizing. So I got some clips that we're going to play through here and talk about it because it's fantastic. Listen to this. These are highlights from the softball questions that she got on 60 Minutes. You've seen the highlights, and I'm hoping that this is not repetitive with other people's analysis of this. You get a softball question from 60 Minutes, and it's an abject disaster. You're doing something wrong. She has highlighted every single failed policy of the Biden-Harris regime since day one, how they've exacerbated all of the problems and now want to pat themselves on the back for having stemmed, at least not even stopped the bleeding, reduced the bleeding to half after literally slashing the proverbial political carotid artery of the American political system. Listen to this.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay.
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers today, because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half. We have cut the flow of fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
What I was asking,
can you imagine? This is straight out of George Orwell's 1984, and I think it related to chocolate production. We're like, oh, chocolate production is up threefold from down 90%. Anybody who's ever invested in the market, like when a stock, now which way does it go? If the stock goes down 50%, no, hold on, the stock is $50, it doubles at 100. Oh, son of a beasting. If it goes up 10% and then down 10%, it's gone down more than it's gone up. The absolute idiocy of this, and by the way, when he starts off by saying what I'm asking you is because she didn't answer him the first time. Their policies, striking however many executive orders that that Trump had in place. Then you get into the title there that was prohibiting the crossing of the border for COVID reasons. That journalist there, that guy, I forget his name now. The reason why he's pissed on the border issue and arguably giving Kamala Harris a hard time, he had talked about how he'd been covering the border issue for a very long time. He had seen firsthand the disaster of this. And so he presses on the idea that your policies resulted in a quadrupling of illegal crossings. Get into the fentanyl side of this afterwards. Quadruple of illegal crossings. And then she says, yeah, but our policies afterwards reduced that by half. So you went from however many, I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. It's like 11,000 crossings a day. You quadruple it and then you have it. And then you claim success and blame the problem on Trump and then accuse him of running on the refusal to solve a problem. I mean, this is coming from 60 Minutes. And the amazing thing is, you literally have people on the left, I'll show you who this guy is in a second, trying to spin her abject stupidity as a W. They've got to find, they can't, by the way, let me take this. No, I'm not going to, I'll take it out here. I think I can do it like this. Yeah, I can do it like this. Oh, look at that. I don't have to close the screen. That was I don't know how many minutes it was edited down to. I think 20 some odd minutes. That's an edited interview. Now, part of me thinks that they might have actually edited that to make Kamala Harris look even worse because I think the powers that be have had it with Kamala Harris. I mean, in that interview, the big guy basically talks about how the honeymoon of the convention is over. That's the edited interview. I demand to see the unedited material. Like, part of me wants to believe that maybe they're making her look bad, but if that's the best they could make her look with the material they had, how bad must the unedited answers be? But then you get these propagandists, and I'll show you who this guy is in a second here. Adam Parkhamenko. Adam Parkhamenko is a Dem strategist. Moose and Simba had better be pets. former DNC National Field Director, Hillary advisor, and more. So you know that you're going to get lied to here. Listen to this. Kamala Harris, fact-checking the reporter here is everything. You understand the tactic of what's happening here, by the way, people. These guys know that the majority of people are not even going to watch the video on Twitter. They're going to see that headline and say, "Oh, must be a W for Harris. I'm going to share it." I want to see what those quote tweets look like. So this is well, when you go and watch the video, you understand what a lie it is. When you go and check the profile and you see this guy's a Dem strategist who used to advise Hillary Clinton, you know that it's a lie because he's a liar, and that's all that they do is absolutely lie. But let's hear Harris fact-checking the reporter, shall we?
You want to expand the child tax credit.
Yes, I do.
You want to give tax breaks to first-time home buyers.
Yes.
And people starting small businesses.
Correct.
But it is estimated by the Nonpartisan Committee for Responsible Federal Budget that your economic plan would add $3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. How are you going to pay for that?
Okay, so the other economists that have reviewed
my
plan versus my opponent.
By the way, how are you going to pay for that? Her answer at the end of the day, at this answer, oh, hold on, we'll get there. The other, you know what her answer is? Let me just not answer your question and let me go to the other economists who I strongly suspect are not bipartisan, even if we could assume that the ones who gave that answer in the first place were partisan. What's my answer to your question? I'm not going to answer it.
And determined that my economic plan would strengthen America's economy. His would weaken it. But my plan, Bill, if you don't mind, my plan.
Bill, if you excuse me, I'm talking, Bill, if you don't mind. But you're not answering. Bill. I love this. Look at
my plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses, you invest in the middle class and you strengthen America's economy. Small businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
You want to expand the
Can you believe that the spin masters are out there trying to spin this as Kamala Harris fact-checking the reporter here is everything? She didn't fact-check him. She avoided his question, made a bald assertion of a source that we don't even know what it is. It's beyond disaster. It's beyond disaster where I get scared that a prediction that I made of a possible play of the deep state, now that they've announced basically that Secret Service is as useful as a-hole right here, to quote the best line out of Kill Bill 2, that they are laying the brickwork for what might be their most devious next plan, because nobody can watch this media blitz except for the absolute idiots on The View and think that it's going well. Everybody seen Kill Bill 2? What are you trying to tell me? That I don't need you to do the job that I'm paying you to do? That you're as useful as an a-hole right here? Best line of the movie. Yeah, so that was the damn spin master trying to polish a turd, as we say. That turd right now is Kamala Harris and her media blitz. What else do we have? Let's do this. Okay, we're going to do this one. I'm going to go to the chat, see what's going on there. This one, first of all, once you see Elmer Fudd, you can never unsee Elmer Fudd. Once you have that audio in your head, I can be a knucklehead at times after it never leaves your head. Look at this raging, can I say it? I'm going to swear, people. This raging dipshit. I mean, this is the dumber VP than the dumb VP, who is the dumber VP to the other dumb VP, Biden, who is the dumb VP to Obama. It's idiocracy. I mean, this is how, in Idiocracy, if you haven't seen it, the premise of the movie is that only the dumb procreate. And so you don't have a meritocracy, you have an idiocracy where the idiots ascend to power. This is the definition of idiocracy, assuming you believe in the meme. Biden dumber than Obama, Kamala dumber than Biden, and Walz dumber than Kamala. Listen to this answer. And this was, as far as I could tell, this was the only clip of dipshit McGee over here in the six. I'm going to stop swearing. I feel bad now. I'll blame the energy drink. Okay, listen to this.
In your debate with
It's very loud.
J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time
You lied.
that you
Lied.
said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
You lied. Oh, yeah.
Is-
Can you? First of all, I will give this journalist credit. When I'm watching this interview, I'm like, This is what you have to do, and this is what I'm incapable of doing. Sit down, look professional, look pretentious, look like you deserve their presence, like they've graced you with their presence. You got to look like you're flattering them in all of this demeanor. And you've got to phrase your question in such a polite, soft-mannered, almost deceitful manner where they don't realize you're calling them a liar. You're not calling them a dipshit liar. You're just saying, when you said the thing that you said and it wasn't true, that's called. What did you mean by that? It's a softball question because it even allows the little BASTARD to sneak out of it. I'll shut my mouth.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I mean, I don't know this guy's name. I feel bad. That's a damn good phrasing of a question that you would ask when you're trying to destroy someone's candidacy. I wouldn't have been so diplomatic. I was like, you said that. I'll go into it after.
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
It comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure. Hey, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure. Can you imagine this? Like, I would have maybe asked the question politely at first, and then I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Tim, you scoundrel of a liar." Let me just read what Tim Young said when he put this out. This is 60 Minutes is ending the Kamala Waltz campaign tonight. They pressed Waltz on his China lies, and he resorts to nonsense about being a knucklehead again. I said this in my retweet of that. Getting a date wrong is one thing. Lying about an event is another. You know, it's like he says, "Well, I was in Tiananmen Square, or I was in Taiwan at the time of where was China? I was in Tiananmen Square at the time of the event." It's like, oh, sorry, you're right. I got the date wrong. No, Tiananmen Square is not a date. January 6th is not a date. September 11th is not a date. It's a era-defining moment. And for you to say, "Yeah, I was in Tiananmen Square 10 years later or 10 years earlier," it's like saying, "Yeah, I was in New York on September 11th." Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 2000. I'm sorry. Did I get the date wrong? Oh, I was at the Capitol on January 6th, 2018. Oh, did I get the date wrong? No, you lied about the event. And he's hemming and hawing about whether or not he can be trusted. I don't know what's going on. I want to believe almost that 60 Minutes is deliberately tanking them, but I don't think they are. I just think these two idiots are absolutely incapable of weaseling themselves out of the lies that they have told. What a tangle web we weave when at first we seek to deceive. All right. That's it for now. A little bit here. Hold on. Going back to the vivabarneslaw.locals.com, I'm seriously beginning to think Obama and Pelosi are working behind the scenes with some of the elite media to sabotage Kamala on behalf of Newsom, Whitmer, and potentially other 2028 Dem hopefuls. They can't have Kamala as an incumbent in 4 years. I think she slipped in under their noses to get Biden's endorsement 30 minutes after he announced stepping down. Let me get the rest of that. Stepping down. She double-crossed them. This is their payback. They wanted a quick primary, and she snatched the gold ring. They are sacking her. I'll tell you what I think about that in 1 second after I read this one from Future Dynamic. You're wrong, Viva. Walz isn't as dumb as Harris. He's just less polished, and she has lots more canned responses. Well, I'll take it even as a draw in terms of who's dumber. It's an interesting thing. The idea that the Obamas would be actively sabotaging it. We've talked about it on the channel on Viva Barnes Law on Sunday night shows, where it was clear that Obama was not on the same wavelength in terms of endorsing Kamala, because he didn't endorse her at first, if he ever endorsed her. And I don't know if you're going to remember this. I remember because it stuck with me during one of our streams. someone saying like, who, I don't remember who it was, said that video of Kamala flipping on the phone and, putting it to her ear, even though it's on speakerphone because she's an idiot, and Obama on the other end, and the one with Michelle, it sounded AI generated, but it was certainly not the day that Biden announced he was withdrawing. Someone said, how do you even know that video is real? That sounds like an AI generated voice. And I'm like, she wouldn't do that. And some of the person said like, well, who would call them out on it? You think Obama's going to come out and say that Kamala Harris lied about an AI generated voice? They can't do that. It'll sink the Democrat Party. And what a devious thing that would be. Yeah, I'm going to put out a fake audio of you, Obama. You're going to know it. I'm going to know it. And I know that you can't say a damn thing or do a damn thing about it. And you got to sit there like an idiot with your poop eating grin on and bear it out. It would be amazing. It's House of Cards if it went that way. But the bottom line, even if it didn't, and even if it's a sincere, authentic recording, it was days after Biden withdrew. And so it was quite clear that Obama didn't want Kamala as a first choice. She snuck in there, did her Joe Browning, and snatched that golden ring. True. And that this might be them getting back at her by after the honeymoon, whatever. The problem is I don't know that it's even feasible at this point to swap in another candidate. They're printing ballots. People have already voted. So I don't think that option is available in terms of swapping in Michelle Obama even, or Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer this election. I think it's tank the living shit out of her campaign, and then Gavin will have an easier time running in 2028. But then some people are saying, well, they wouldn't ever make such a gambit because they can't not maintain power for the next 4 years. Can you imagine Democrats have been in power for the 12 of the last 16 years and they're blaming everything on Trump? Outrageous. Them's my thoughts. Let's see if we go over to anything up here. I don't think I have. Oh, we missed a super chat here. Gaetan J, $10 Canadian. Thank you. KH was never meant to win. She was meant to lose the election against Trump. Trump will have served his 2 times. In 4 years, Hillary will be the next Democrat presidential nominee. Gaetan, the reason why I don't think it's going to be Hillary, I think people forgot how old Hillary is. Hillary Clinton age. Oh, she's 60. No, she's 76. She's not running at 80. There's no question about that. I mean, my goodness, she would look like a mixture between George Soros and that demon guy out of Star Wars. So there's no way Hillary runs in 4 years. She's done for. She's 80-year-old senile, I don't know, raging alcoholic. She's not going to be running in 2028, but it'll be Gavin Newsom, and then they'll be able to blame everything on the first female presidential candidate. No, she's the second, the first black female, or in East Asian. So no, the first half of the theory, not terrible. Second half, it will not be Hillary in 4 years' time, in my humble view. That being said, if they do yeet out Kamala and replace her with a Gavin Newsom or a Gretchen Whitmer, I'll be pissed because I thought they were going to do that before the primary. And that was where my bet lied on predictit.org. And my goodness, they stole that prediction from me. Encryptus in the house brings this up here, who says, Encryptus, what do you mean you don't remember who told you the AI fake? I am offended, good sir. Encryptus, was it public? Well, if it wasn't, no, Encryptus, the thing is this, I'm senile. And Encryptus, if it was you, I will thank you. I would have to go back after the show, then remember, and then come back on the next show and apologize for it. Encryptus, thank you. And I don't remember if it was public or not, but either way. And by the way, Encryptus, thank you for reminding me of a second thing. Okay, I got this on Monday, and I got it even early. I think it was Monday. This is a gift from a member of our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. A woodworking box that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I don't know if it's supposed to be a cigar box, a jewelry box. It's certainly not going to be a tackle box. It smells amazing. Look at the woodwork on this. Look at the detail. And then you open it up. And it smells wonderful. And it's got, I think it's a jewelry box. Either way, I've been meaning to thank the person who made this because it is Bruce Dahl Custom Woodworking. Bring this out here. Custom woodwork, brucedahlww.com. And it's just a work of art. It's as much of a work of art as Ginger Ninja's chessboard behind me, and it's amazing. I'm a knucklehead for forgetting. Raw. See, hold on, let me bring this up here. Is this it? Bring it up. No, that's it. Hold on. Will you respond to Bob Woodward's new reporting about Trump and Putin? JD Vance, I honestly didn't know Bob Woodward was still alive. No, someone said, I'm a knucklehead. My thing is not calling myself a knucklehead. It's calling myself an idiot, because I am. And if I ever run for prime minister, you can put together the montage. The one good thing about feeling like an idiot is I double check everything. But Bruce, it's amazing. Bruce Dahl, check it out. Okay, let's see what else we got on the back burner before we get back to the chat here. This is my montage, by the way. And I said to Jen, I didn't even know that Jen Psaki was like already saying, I don't consider myself Republican and whatever, or even on the right. I'm a constitutionalist. But I said, like, I'm loving this Blitz. Keep it up, because it allows me to put together montages like this.
Because ultimately it's about, look, this is not about imposing my thoughts on you in terms of what you do with your life or your body. It's actually quite the opposite. It's saying the government shouldn't be telling people what to do.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Stop. I've got to make sure that everybody can hear that. Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your own home doesn't mean that we are not going to come in there and make sure that you're being responsible with it. Listen to this.
Telling people what to do.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home.
In the sanctity of your locked home.
We're not going to walk into that.
Doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home.
If you're being responsible
and check to see if you're being responsible in the way you conduct your affairs.
Shouldn't be telling people what to do.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
The government shouldn't be telling people what to do.
Listen to this
If
one.
you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
The government shouldn't be telling people what to do. Because ultimately it's about,
it's a thing of beauty.
This is not about imposing.
Keep going, Kamala. The thumbnail for today's show was loose lips sink ships, because I'm referring to this media blitz as a Titanic of a tour. And I know it's not the proper use of the expression loose lips sink ships. That's the idea that, loose lips, if you tell secrets, you're going to give away locations and you'll get blasted out of the water. But I couldn't get past the loose lips, the double entendre of that one. So yeah, keep it up. Keep going. Tom Forsyth over on YouTube says, Michelle would be a strong candidate, but I heard she is blackballed. I didn't hear that. I heard that she doesn't like people, doesn't like politics. They're sitting on their $15 million Martha's Vineyard estate. They don't want to deal with the nastiness of politics. She wants to go and enjoy, not cashing in, but selling out. She's got to go enjoy that $600,000 an hour that Obama now commands because he was president. It's amazing. You don't do all that for nothing. And then what was this one here? No, we did this one yesterday. So that was Jessica Alba talking about it. Let me see here. I think I got everything. Jen Psaki, was there a second one here? No, this is the second one.
So for weeks, many Republicans.
Yeah, that was the one we saw at the beginning. All right, good. We've covered the latest on Kamala Harris. We're going to move to the Canadian stuff. Let's move to the Canadian stuff, because I don't know if you all know what's going on north of the border. You do remember that there were a spate of fires up in Canada over the summer. I want to say it was this summer, but I think it might have been the summer before this summer. My goodness, I'm losing track of my own life. Was it this summer that there were forest fires? No, it was last summer, where there were a spate of forest fires. They blame climate crisis. It turns out many of them are arson, may be exacerbated by poor forest fire management. And there were some more, but there was a recent fire in Jasper, Alberta. And it was disastrous. Like, Jasper is among the most beautiful places on earth. And I'll just take a random article here so we can get the lowdown before we get into the outright insane criminal negligence coming from the Canadian government. Jasper National Park's largest wildfire in a century destroys a third of Canadian town and could continue for months. Let's see, we don't really need to get into all of it. The wildfire that has been ravaging the area in Canada Known as the world's second largest dark sky preserve, has already destroyed a third of the popular tourist town. Officials say the flames could stay ablaze for months. It broke out a week ago. This was in, when was this? July. This was this summer. Largest wildfire recorded in Jasper National in 100 years. Okay, yada, yada, yada. We're going to be working with the wildfire. We expect over the next 3 months, fine. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith said up to 50% of all buildings in Jasper had been destroyed by the flames. The latest numbers provided by the municipality of Jasper indicate that out of the 1,100 structures, 358, about a third have been destroyed. However, all critical infrastructure was successfully protected, officials say, including the hospital, library, and fire hall. Okay, so we got that. That's the story. As is the case with most disasters, they either get politicized, they either are politicized, they are either politically induced or politically exacerbated. Much like what we're seeing in terms of the response or lack thereof in North Carolina, Georgia, and the states that were just ravaged by Hurricane Helene. There were accusations that there was some neglect from the federal government in terms of response, much like what we were alleging back in 2024 when the fires were burning out of control. They were importing firefighters from foreign nations because, I don't know, maybe they had fired a lot of their firefighters for reasons of vaccination, et cetera, et cetera. And the problem got worse. And anybody who dared question whether or not these fires might have been the result of arson, which many of the substantial ones were, we were called crazy people. There are hearings going on up in Canada that I don't think everybody's familiar with, because if I didn't know that they were going on, I presume that most people don't. And the hearings have revealed a few things. These are coming from sources that I know and trust. Harrison Faulkner, I know and trust. Dan Mazier, I don't know who he is. Hold on. Excuse me. But he's the MP, so I don't think he'd be lying as much as other MPs. He's the MP, Dauphin Swan River, okay, Shadow Minister of the Rural Economic Development, Vice Chair, standing on environment, former KAP President from Manitoba. He put out a tweet as relates to these hearings that says, breaking, Jasper wildfire investigation reveals that Minister Guilbeault is that disgusting person. I've got to do this now. I'm going to pull up an image of Guilbeault, because now that I just say it out loud, he reminds me visually of a few other people that we have seen recently. We'll get there in a second. Minister Guilbeault, who used to be the Minister of Heritage, I believe. I forget what his title was. Minister Guilbeault's department turned away multiple fire trucks and firefighters who arrived on scene to help. They were forced to watch Jasper burn because Parks Canada prevented them from doing their job. More to come. I see this tweet. I'm skeptical. I see Harrison Faulkner retweeted. Harrison Faulkner, for those of you who don't know, he is host of Ratioed Monday to Thursday, the host of The Faulkner Show, True North Center. He's amazing. So follow him if you don't follow him already. There are no words. One of the crown jewels of our beautiful country was sacrificed on the altar of climate change. I'm skeptical. I'm always skeptical, as one should be. And that's the tweet. Then I went to find these hearings, which were posted by Rebel News. And it's actually even worse than you can possibly imagine. I'm going to go through the majority of this, because it's thoroughly incomprehensible that there are these hearings that are going on. I don't think most people know about it. And that this is what's revealed during the hearings. Listen to this, and I'll pause it periodically. This was posted by Sheila Gunn Reid of Rebel News.
Last committee meeting we had, the Minister of Emergency Preparedness say to this committee that he left no stone unturned in order to do everything he could to prevent the loss of property in Jasper National Park. Would you agree with that sentence?
I would not.
Okay, the testimony that you've given before this committee today is actually quite alarming. So can you just confirm to me that in a short amount of time, you were able to muster 20 fire trucks and 50 professional firefighters? And could you tell me what the qualifications of those firefighters would be? Were they fire-tested firefighters?
Yes. So I did have 20 fire trucks and 50 firefighters. Majority of the firefighters I had were NFPA 10001, 10002, as well as numerous firefighters that were wildland firefighters, either wildland firefighter type 1 or wildland firefighter type 2.
So could you explain to the committee what that level of certification actually means? That's some fairly technical language. These are fully certified firefighters? These are, and you said each of them had credentials and have experience fighting fires before?
That's correct. So the NFPA qualifications are the same as,
Well, let's skip ahead a little
aside
bit.
from their mutual aid partners that they rely on, such as Hinton and Clearwater County.
They talk about how these fire hydrants in Jasper were specifically designed so that not necessarily outside firefighters could have actually physically attached their hoses to them, from what I understood, as if that's a reasonable thing in any event, that there shouldn't be some sort of uniformity on this, but that wasn't the issue because these other firefighters who had come in had access to other water that they could have used to put out the forest fire. Listen to this.
Fires at times. So when you have numerous fire trucks tying in, it is not impossible for the water system to be completely depleted. So that's why we now use secondary water sources to supply water.
Okay, so here.
And you had the fire trucks and the water trucks available in order to engage the fire in Jasper in the town site, correct?
That's correct.
And you were told specifically that you could not access, and you were told specifically by parks officials to not engage in fighting the fire in Jasper. Did I hear you say that correctly?
We were able to use water from Pyramid Lake, but not from Athabasca River. And we were not allowed to engage the fire.
We were not allowed to engage the fire.
20 fire trucks, 50 firefighters, not allowed to engage the fire. Is there anything in the statutes that you're aware of that would have allowed them to actually bring you under their incident command protocols and actually had you join the fight against the fire?
Appreciate the analogy between this governmental bureaucracy and what we're witnessing up in North Carolina or down in North Carolina, depending where you're at. You have these federal agencies. We're coming in, we're doing it, we're taking all your stuff and you're not part of us. Well, can you, like, the equivalent of deputize us? Can you not just use it? We're here. No. It's just it's bureaucracy. It's bureaucracy, federal bureaucracy that screws up everything. Instead of letting people collaborate together as they should have, as was basically how America formed as a country, but this is Canada. Instead of letting the people work together logically, logistically, in the face of an imminent, ongoing crisis disaster, bureaucracy prevails and the citizens suffer as a result.
So in previous experience, what they could have done was assign a task force leader to our group to act as a liaison to the incident command. So this way we could have a functioning relationship with the incident command. As well, in dire circumstances, if the fire came in and they are worried about the entire community, they do have the ability under various legislation, such as the Alberta Forest and Prairie Protection Act, to use conscription to bring us into their command as well.
Do you believe that if you would have been able to engage the fire, that you could have saved some property in Jasper town site?
100%.
Absolutely. Part of our arsenal that we have out there were 2 airport fire trucks as well as 8 industrial fire trucks. So these are monstrously large fire trucks that could have put out a lot of water to help protect communities on the front line. Then the smaller brush trucks could have been used to help defend the community from the impingements that landed.
All right, we can stop there and I'll give everybody the link. This is confirmation that the tweets summarizing it were not only accurate, but also understated the grotesque incompetence of this. It's a conclusion and not necessarily a fact that it was done in order to sacrifice Jasper at the altar of climate crisis. But this is, not to get conspiratorial, but when you systematically see authorities fail at responding in real time to mitigate disaster and then subsequently politicizing the extent of that disaster to push their political agendas, there's no other way to look at these events. It is what led Alex Jones down that dark path of leading him to say certain things that were factually incorrect about Sandy Hook. But when you see the level of incompetence, the level of failure to protect, and in that case, it might not have been a failure to respond because it might have been too late by that point, but failure to protect. Then you look at Uvalde and the failure to respond, and then invoking the degree of that atrocity in order to come after the underlying political issue of gun grabbing. You look at the fires that were burning in California that they blame on climate crisis when it's more likely than not forest mismanagement and not using available resources that they have. And as a result of the incompetence, the problems get exponentially worse. And then they invoke the degree of gravity of the problem made exponentially worse as a result of their incompetence to push their politics, you cannot blame people for then appreciating or believing that there is, in fact, an underlying political motivation to allowing these things to occur or allowing them to occur to the extent that they do and denying the assistance that they need. That's going on in Canada. That was Jasper. This is the year after forest fires that were the result of arson that the media lied about not being arson, demonized anybody who called them or suggested them arson, and then lo and behold, people get convicted of arson in these cases. So I thought that story was sufficiently important to put it on blast coming out of Canada. People deserve to go to jail for this. And I'm not saying this is like a lock them up type knee-jerk reaction. This is criminal negligence at the institutionalized level. You know, voting them out of office is the least of the lawful responses to this. They deserve to be held to account in a legal sense. People die, property is destroyed, and then they sit there and say, well, we need to take more of your rights away because we were politically motivated, incompetent in responding to these crises in real time. Ganthet in the House, government business on pause as conservatives demand documents on defunct Green Tech Foundation. Documents in question relate to the foundation formerly responsible for funding green tech projects. Laura Osman, Alicia Passafiume, the Canadian Press. Well, that is new to me. I have to go check out what that means afterwards. We got Marlene donated. Maria Yapavlenko donated. Thank you very much, Maria. And then we got Future Domain here. What's their plan C? They can't swap out Harris and Vance. They can't swap out Harris. I think he probably meant Waltz, keeping them from taking another shot at Trump. They can't swap out Harris and Vance. Oh, I'm sorry. They can't swap out Harris, and Vance keeps them from taking another shot at Trump. How do they keep Trump out? Super ballot stuffing, electoral shenanigans, refusal of cert. Some people have gone on to the idea that that they're using technology to direct weather, to interfere with the ability to even conduct the elections. Let's see if I can find it. I think Luke Rudkowski just put one out, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's right here. Here, check this out. There are people who legitimately, I'm not there yet, but I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not there. Oh, hold on one second. Did he delete it? Well, he might have deleted it. Unless I've been kicked off Twitter. Sorry, guys. I just got distracted here. Aaron Parnas, JD, George W. Law, political science, Florida Atlantic, Washington, D.C., attorney, strategist, says Howard Stern endorsing Kamala Harris is a big deal. Let's hear this clip.
I think that's some of the most important work that anyone can do, which is to require that we have a society that does not allow, in particular, for violence and that kind of behavior to go without consequence, serious consequence.
It's really weird, too.
Hold on. We can't let violence go without serious consequence. This is coming from the mouth of the woman. There's a joke there that I'm not going to say. This is coming from the mouth of the woman who raised funds to bail out violent BLM protesters. This level of gaslighting is absolutely atrocious and can only work on the most smooth-brained of low-information voters out there. We can't live in a society where violence goes unpunished.
To me, you're the law and order candidate. And yet they try to paint you like you're some leftist who I don't know, who wants...
you mean like the most progressive leftist senator? Howard Stern, it's such... this is like looking at Elvis Presley in his later years compared to what Elvis Presley was in his younger years. Howard Stern, he's not listening, but my goodness, I hope... I'm ashamed that I ever thought Howard Stern was funny, insightful, and conducted good interviews, but he did. The bottom line is he was funny. He did conduct good interviews. He did conduct insightful interviews because he was genuinely curious about someone's life and lived experience back in the day. Now he is a demented, tyrannical piece of shit who is intellectually dishonest and who's a boot-licking sycophant for the Democrats, and he doesn't do interviews anymore. He does butt-licking political campaign stops. Oh, I'm sorry. You're the law and order candidate. She raised funds to bail out violent criminals from jail, you dumbass, washed-up hack, Howard Stern. She was voted the most progressive senator out there. You dumbass, washed-up hack, Howard Stern.
have people running through the streets committing crimes. You were a prosecutor.
She was a prosecutor. And your next question should be, you should have known better than raising funds to bail out violent criminals.
I have put a lot of people in jail. I have personally prosecuted everything from
petty marijuana offenses.
Child sexual assault to homicide.
And if Howard Stern were an honest reporter, which he's not, he's an idiot, he would say, yeah, you put a lot of people in jail for petty marijuana offenses and then laughed about having smoked marijuana. You not only put people away wrongly in jail, you kept them in jail wrongly by hiding exculpatory evidence that kept a man in jail wrongly. No, but you're the senator, you're the candidate of law and order who violates the law, who promotes civil disorder. Oh my gosh, Howard Stern. He's lived long enough to become the villain. Not that I say he should have died a hero, but he could have lived a hero. He had that option. Holy cow. So I got distracted from what I went there to do. I went there to go look for, no, I didn't. Whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. So that's that. I wanted to bring something else up. I thought I had it in the backdrop. I think I did. Well, we might. I have to bring it up. It's a good time now. By the way, this was the pièce de résistance in her Titanic media blitz of a tour. She admitted it. She admitted something which I don't think that she understands what she admitted, and I don't think many people who listened to this might have picked up on the first time. Listen to this.
It's an election bill, and I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. This is an election for president of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
Understand what she said there. There's a conjunction that she said, which is a very important conjunction.
They can just declare themselves, should be able to take for granted the states. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate.
Nobody can just take for granted that they can just declare themselves the candidate and
automatically receive support. You have to.
So what that means, by the way, you have to earn it.
Earn it.
You have to earn the support. It doesn't mean that you have to earn the nomination. What she has said here is, they selected me. I didn't earn the selection.
United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate.
Just declare themselves the candidate and that they automatically get support. They got to earn the support after they declare themselves the candidate. That is what she said. And I'm not like wordsmithing here to make her say something that she didn't say. What she said is, you can't just declare yourself the candidate and expect support. It doesn't mean that you can't declare yourself the candidate. She's done that. You can't declare yourself the candidate and then expect support. You got to go earn the support after you have declared yourself the candidate, which is what she's done. She said it out loud and doesn't understand what she just said.
And automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
And the sound of her mouth. All right, peeps. There are videos going around, and you must remain skeptical at all times to avoid retweeting something that can cause you to lose credibility if it turns out not to be true. There is a video going around right now, and I am absolutely not poo-pooing the potential that it depicts what people are suggesting it depicts. This is now coming out of the back to Springfield, Ohio, where they are eating the pets. They're eating the dogs. Eat. Okay, I'll play the videos, the song afterwards. Taylor Hanson, who I definitely trust. He was on the channel. Used to be with, I'm going to forget the name of it now, Tenet Media. And he's been on the ground in Springfield, and I don't think he's on the ground in Springfield anymore. Tweeted this out, and it says, a Haitian is caught on video chopping an animal apart with a machete in public. The video was taken by a resident of the Red Couch Apartments. Okay, and we can watch this. I mean, this is the video. Certainly looks like someone with a machete. He definitely looks to be black. Cutting up an animal unknown. I mean, it's even, if we want to be totally skeptical, it's not even clear it's an animal, but it certainly looks like it's protein, fleshy material and not, for example, herbs or plants or tree. There's no audio, edits, and then it goes into the end here, and you get some audio towards the end. It looks like what it looks like, but one of the biggest and strongest counterpoints to they're eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, was the story that got circulated as a result of a video of a woman eating a cat, a black woman eating a cat. And everyone's like, this is the video footage, this is the evidence, they're eating cats and dogs. And everybody was like, Viva, have you seen this video? When you say, you know, be a little skeptical. I saw the video. The video wasn't from Springfield. And the woman, by all accounts, wasn't Haitian. She was an American, or at least a registered voter as of 2018. It was a fair distance from Springfield. So the video that people were claiming as ironclad evidence that it is in fact happening turned out to be not the case, that the woman, though black, was not Haitian. And she was actually just batshit crazy on drugs or whatever, but was actually eating a cat. There is context, or at least further evidence that's required for that video, not knowing the date that it was recorded, the area that it was recorded, or what on earth is going on in that, if that's a man in someone's backyard doing Lord knows what. It's definitely a man with a machete. And in my skepticism, some people are like, Viva, how many Americans do you know that walk around with a machete and doing that? Let me see. One of them is, how many Americans do you know that use a machete to cut meat in the backyard of a gated community? I would guess none. This is true, but then I don't know location. And I mean, people use machetes all the time. When I was at actually in Joshua Tree, and the guy who took the picture of me and my kid in the Skull Rock had a machete. I didn't even notice it. But we don't know what's going on in that video, so I will remain skeptical until we have further evidence. In just more specifically, the person who shot the video. Like at that point, if you shoot that video from that apartment and that's your apartment, a lot of information can be deduced from that. So anonymity might no longer be the precluding factor of coming public and explaining what went on in that video so that we can actually know. King of Biltong. Is it? Oh, hold on a second. Did I bring? Biltong in the house. Let's do it. I think he put the wrong promo code. It doesn't matter, Biltong. It doesn't matter whose promo code they use. King of Biltong in the house says, our Biltong was tried and approved by General Mike Flynn. Need a healthy snack? Get yours today. Oh, that's the quartering. Biltong, it doesn't matter. Everyone should just go to biltongusa.com and get some of it. I have it in the fridge. It's amazing. I'm going to go eat some after this. It's amazing. Biltong USA, for those who don't know, Biltong is like South African beef jerky. It's like prosciutto made out of beef. It's amazing. Code Viva 10, doesn't matter. Quartering 10. And if it's good enough for Mike Flynn, you know damn well it's good enough for me. But it was good enough for me in the first place. And then Sammy in the house. Hold on, let me bring this out. And Sammy, maybe not at Viva Fry. Maybe she just admitted to the theory we were just talking about, using the AI Obama voice to do a power grab. Maybe not, Viva Fry. Maybe she just admitted to the contrary we were just talking about. Oh, I see what you're saying, Sammy. Politics is so freaking dirty. It's unbelievable. Do we have anything more? Hold on. We're going to do our locals after party. Well, I don't know how long it's going to go for, because we got to get. We're prepared. I'll save two things for one thing for locals, and then we're going to have our after party Q&A. Let me go over to CommiTube, make sure we didn't miss anything. We got something from Jason Lane. Hypothetical. What happens if Kamala chooses not to certify the election in the event President Trump wins again? I'd love to hear your take. We've talked about that, Jason, on the show. I would refer to Barnes's answer, which is they just can't do it at this point. They've made their bed on challenging elections. Yes, they're a bunch of raging hypocrite, lawless hypocrites, but they've made their bet on that. I mean, they've referred to it as insurrection. And so they can't then themselves descend into insurrection. I don't. It's a problem. Call me naive or call me too white-pilled. If the victory is, and everyone should go watch my interview with, let me get the link for that. Everyone should watch my interview with, what's up?
You know what screwdriver, like the flat?
Do I know where a flathead screwdriver is?
Yeah.
What happened?
I need it to unscrew my...
Is Mom here?
No.
It's in the laundry room, in that plastic bucket above the sink. If I hear a crashing noise, I'll come and get you. Don't do anything bad. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, that's right. The watch my interview with Joe Altman, not Altman. We've been talking about it has to be bigger. You have to beat the cheat. The numbers have to be too big to cheat. So you got to beat the cheat. But if it's just overwhelmingly decisive, they talk about there's only being like 6 swing states. If we see results that what were not even swing states go, if it's so decisive, it's unequivocal, it's categorical, there's nothing you can do about it, they will just have to surrender, just accept it, and just, like maybe flee like a bunch of rats off a ship because they're going to be going to jail. I don't know what happened, but I don't think they can play that card. I think they've actually made the decision that they've made that bed that they can no longer they can no longer unmake that bed, or at least they can no longer get the poop back into that horse, to quote Emily Baker. Let me go over to Rumble, see what's going on in the chat over there. Viva has the same problems I have. My kids always want something and then wonder why they are busy. We homeschooled. I'm going to share something over on the vivabarneslaw.locals.com. King of Biltom. We had a homeschool lesson today. It might have been the best lesson ever. We'll talk about it in a bit. P. Morgan says, Viva, I'm just now able to watch you on Rumble. Just wanted to tell you that I love the shape of Florida. It looks like America is missing on Cuba. Hold on a second. Let me say this. Just wanted to tell you that I love the shape of Florida. It looks like America is missing on Cuba. I'm gonna have to get that. Then we got Decimal Threat. Is there a fight here? Okay. Kamala looks like Bin Laden's. What is that? Real media. Okay, let me scroll up to see what's going on here. Dog a la machete, a migrant specialty. Sorry, I'm just reading. Still not Banshee says, I wish people didn't do this. They ruin their own lives with treason. I often have moments where I feel sad for them, and I shouldn't really. Yep. And then the only question is, dude, how nuts are they going to go if and when Trump wins? Lil Gabby 66 says, Viva, please know these hurricanes are 100% intentional. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, but I know the technology exists to, if not outright control the weather, at the very least to exacerbate and direct. All right, you've piqued my curiosity. I got to go back to Luke's handle and see what's going on here. Did he delete it, or was it deleted for him? Holy crab apples! Traffic on St. Pete's Bridge is just, yeah. Okay, I do not see the tweet of the controlling of the weather, but I do know that it is technology that exists. All right, peeps, what we're going to do now, we're going to end this and we're going to go on over to locals. It's going to be for the supporters only because I'm using Studio today. Locals. I have a typo in there, but come on over to locals. If you don't want to come, and I can understand it, I will be live tomorrow, internet permitting. Shooting an episode of The Unusual Suspects tomorrow. Need to check what time call time is. Then the hurricane should be making its way here towards tomorrow evening. And we'll see how it goes. We're stocked up. We're loaded up. We got life jackets. We got a kayak. We got fishing rods. We got food. We got water. We got batteries, gas. What else? Machete. Do I get the machete? I know I have a machete somewhere in here anyhow. But we're good. We're not the ones who need the prayers. I've extended an open door to some people who I know that have to evacuate and others who may have to. And those are the ones that need the thoughts and the prayers and may need the support afterwards, because this is going to be, there's going to be a lot of damage. So, although maybe things happen and just like, I don't know, the battle between good and evil, if these are in fact exacerbated by human intervention. Viva, did you just admit you do not own a proper toolbox? Says Encryptus. Encryptus, if you saw the toolbox that we can't have toolboxes. I know where things are. And I've got my Opinel, my French knife, right over here. This is made in France. So you know it's got to be a sissy. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, no, we don't have a proper toolbox. But we can't have nice things. So that's the bottom line. All right, everybody. Unless there's more in the Rumble chat here. Operation Popeye used in Vietnam to control monsoons. Yeah, to exacerbate the monsoons, to flood, to make the monsoon season worse. That was going back to the 70s, 60s. Wanderluster, I just joined Amos Miller for $130. Wanderluster, amazing. Kung Fu Tom says the technology exists to control. Well, we could just do it this way here so we can all see what I'm reading at the same time. The technology exists to control a hurricane's path. So logically, every hurricane that makes landfall is intentional. Yeah, I mean, I understand the idea that you can create high and low pressure air systems, which could in theory direct it. Like, again, I'm not there yet, but I do not blame anybody for believing it. Oh, Bucklebrush Jones says, I'm in Clearwater, ready for round 2. Wish me luck. Good luck. I know Lectern guy is hunkering down also. I don't know if he's defying evacuation orders, but he's up there. Allison Morrow. Let me give everybody the link to Allison Morrow, actually, because she put up a video that I haven't yet watched about deciding to stay where they are. And everybody should go, please support Allison Morrow as well. Sir? The kid put something together. Allison Morrow here. Hold on. Let me share this with everybody. Why I'm staying and not evacuating. I'm going to share this link with everybody so that you can all send her your thoughts here. Watch the video. This is Allison Morrow deciding to stay, and they will all probably need help after this. So that's that. Okay, and I'll share it in locals. Let's get over to locals right now. You want to show this to the world?
No, I'm saying.
Okay, well, let's just... Okay, hold on. The kid, everyone's going to get this. This is totally cool. Hold on. Where can we do it? Where can we do it? Okay, stick it to the sign. Yeah, and don't go too far. Check this out, guys. Okay, look at this. This is technology for kids. It's amazing.
I can't stick it to the sign.
No. You can stick to the sign. Of course, it has to put the... Yeah, put the whole thing to it.
No, I can't. It's Viva flag.
Oh.
It's sticking out.
Oh, crap. No, move the flag and go on. Okay, go on. Oh, that's all over there. Okay, go there. Check this out. No, not on the sticky thing. Above it. Look at this. It works better on a totally smooth wall. Kids these days, spoiled rotten with technology that...
Well, let me ask me if you wanted to have it.
Yeah, of course I want to have it. I'll put see if it can hold a GoPro weight on it. And now get out of here for another few minutes. Roostang, are we going to follow up on Barnes and his arguments? We'll talk about that on locals because I didn't get to hear it. Ugh! And Ali Michael says, Viva, thank you, Viva and chat, for taking my mind off Milton. I got family who's up north in more of the direct line, and the media, the incessant coverage, it'll make you crazy without any practical benefit. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so now we're officially ending here, everybody. We're going to go on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Come on over. If you're not coming over, stay tuned. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I am forgetting something because I'm a moron. Hold on. Let me go over here because I know that I shared the link. Here, this is what I wanted to share with everybody before we leave. And it's on now. Check this out as well. And now we're officially done after this. A link to Joe Ottman. And that's the interview that I did earlier today. Link to Joe. So check that out. Show some love. Drop a comment. Let him know from where you came. And we are now going to go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Ending everywhere. Thank you all. See you soon. I will give updates. And if you don't hear from me for 24 hours, call my parents. No, I got neurotic parents up in Canada. We're all okay. We'll be good. Following up regularly. See you tomorrow. Everyone, if you're not coming to locals, peace, locals. Update stream. We're going to have 30 seconds.